Hello, my name is Masongsong. I'm the CEO of UrbanLogiq, and I'm honored to be joined today by Barbara Thomas, Assistant Manager of Transportation for the City of Nanaimo. We're excited to share with you today some of the work we've been doing with Nanaimo around bringing advanced technology to the City of Nanaimo and the potential this has to improve citizens' quality of life in communities around the world. The main problem that a lot of governments face is there's been an explosion of data from road sensors and connected vehicles and location-based service devices. These offer the potential to allow governments to understand the needs and behaviors of their communities. But for a public servant and a transportation manager, how to access that data in a consumable fashion is a day-to-day challenge. UrbanLogiq works by bringing together the data sources from any source, any format, into one common operating picture, normalized mobility across all domains. So we use artificial intelligence to bring in everything from CSVs, PDFs, API data, etc., into one common platform of mobility. We then diversify this data set by bringing in data sets from across other domains and departments, from economic development, urban planning, public safety, to create one common operating picture of all community behavior. We then supplement this data with third-party data sources. For example, connected vehicle data that allows you to understand the mobility picture even where the city may not have any road sensors. We use location-based services that are fully privacy compliant to identify a pattern of life. So people in any given apartment building, where do they work, shop, where do their kids go to school? This allows us to better optimize the understanding of transit timing and road usage. One of the most exciting data sources that's emerging on the market is computer vision. As the cost of hardware and software declines, the proliferation of computer vision and to understand not just counts, and classification, bus, cars, pedestrians, but also behavior. Where are people jaywalking? Where are car crashes happening? These are data sources that are going to be increasingly available to municipal planners. One of the challenges, though, is how do you understand the quality of data? So one of the things that UrbanLogiq does is we use artificial intelligence to identify the confidence you should have in the data. In many cases, we find road sensors have as high as a 70% error rate. So we use our artificial intelligence and data science to identify where are suspect sensors, where are sensors failing, and what is the corrected score that should be suggested. We also then take a look at what are the types of data dependencies that any given model needs. For any given predictive model, historical coverage, you'll need completeness of features and parameters. And so UrbanLogiq analyzes, based on the data that your government has access to, what models are currently available that you would be able to access for your community. One of the communities we've been most excited to work with is the City of Nanaimo. We work with governments from all around the world, from New York City to Texas, the government of British Columbia and City of Toronto, but Nanaimo has been at the forefront of adopting data science and modern technology to improve the quality of life and equity in their communities. We've been working with them since 2020, ingesting data sources, not only from traffic, but also the contextual factors. And a lot of the pioneering work that UrbanLogiq deploys are actually developed in Nanaimo because they have the forward-thinking ability to identify how can we use innovative practices and thoughtful measures to improve planning processes. I'll turn it over to Barbara now to talk from her point of view of how data drives the quality of life in Nanaimo.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for that, Mark. So at the City of Nanaimo, about 10 years ago, our internal IT department built us a data storage system where we put our traffic data. So that included pedestrian vehicle counts, speeds, and volumes. And it was all in one repository. Well, around 2018, the system was coming to the end of its life, and our IT department said they weren't going to continue maintaining it for us. So we had to go to another option. In 2019, we put out an RFP, and in 2020, as Mark said, we contracted with UrbanLogiq. So what we discovered was that UrbanLogiq was able to offer us so much more than just putting our data into it for traffic volumes and surveys. It opened up the possibility of being able to ingest all of the data that we use every day. So we were able to add our turning movement surveys and our pedestrian and cyclist data. We also were able to upload 40 layers from our GIS system. And this process wasn't painless. We discovered that with all of our different types of files, UrbanLogiq worked really, really hard to create pipelines to upload as much data as possible. But there were certain forms of our data that we had to leave behind, and we had to take a this day forward kind of view of the data. adding the new stuff, but saving the old stuff in our old filing system, which so the data is still there for us. The nice thing though about the UrbanLogiq platform though is at my fingertips at a dashboard, I have all of the data available to me in one easy spot, which means I don't have to go looking for it. And really the strength of this singular platform is that we then can see the various layers together. And that informs decision making in a way that we couldn't do before. It wasn't all in one spot. Some people had some data, some of us had other data, and having it in one location, in one repository, with all the layers available to us at the same time, lets us see the big picture to make better decisions for longer term strategic options and operational decisions. One of the things that UrbanLogiq has been working on is an inferred ADT, and we are happy to work with them on that. This is the opportunity to take pieces of data and infer what's missing in between. And our partnership with UrbanLogiq is that we collect data to validate their inferred data, and then they provide us with improved information around the inferred ADT, which then lets us save money by not having to collect additional data. This particular slide shows you how the data is visible to the city of Nanaimo. This is our own dashboard, and this was tailored to suit us. This allows me to go in quite simply and look at the pieces of information that I want to look at, whether it's the raw data, analyze data, data layers together. And this has been tailored to suit the city of Nanaimo, and of course UrbanLogiq can tailor it to suit their own, each individual client. It's been great to be able to use the pieces of data together to make better decisions. Another lovely piece that came out of our partnership with UrbanLogiq is the issues management tool. Working in a municipality, if that's what you do, you'll be really familiar with the volume of complaints that you receive on a daily basis. And we did not have a central repository for this. And that was a difficulty because we lost complaints. We didn't respond to them in a timely fashion, and it wasn't transparent enough for us. So UrbanLogiq's been able to develop an issues management tool. And this allows us to track every complaint we get, whether it's from the counter, through the phone, or by email. Everything goes into one spot. And we've been able to tailor it to know who's received the call, where it is in the what the status of the call is, where it is in the process, and whether it's been closed out and the member of the public responded to. And so this has been my favorite part of working with UrbanLogiq, because this tool really allows us to stay on top of the work that we do in serving the public. And I think that wraps it up for me. Thank you very much. Back to you, Mark.
I'm sure we've all been hearing all the excitement around ChatGPT and breakthroughs in artificial intelligence. And Nanaimo is actually at the forefront of governments around the world in terms of adopting artificial intelligence in a responsible and measured fashion for the benefit of their citizens. I'll give you some examples of some of the projects that we're working with in Nanaimo in terms of a long-term vision of how to harness responsible data science to improve quality of life. As Barbara mentioned, one of the challenges that communities of varying sizes have is that to responsibly use taxpayer dollars, you can't spend money on every road, to gather data. But in order to have equitable and complete coverage, one of the things that Nanaimo has charged us with is how do they use the data that they have and use artificial intelligence to fill in the blanks so that they can have equitable coverage and equal understanding of all the different communities and their needs across the city. So one of the examples of that, as Barb mentioned, is inferred ADT. What this does is we take the existing historical road sensor data that Nanaimo that has coverage in some areas but not others, and we use artificial intelligence to fill in the blanks. This allows Nanaimo to have a complete, comprehensive picture of their mobility needs in their community without having to pay for road sensors on every street, which would just be cost prohibitive for the individual taxpayer. One of the main things that Nanaimo has brought to us as a priority is the safety of their citizens. So one of the projects that we've been working with Nanaimo about is using crash data and neighborhood contextual data, traffic data, and merging all that to one picture, and using artificial intelligence to map out what are the risk factors and risk levels on any given street based on the time of day, the weather condition, events in the surrounding community. And this allows Nanaimo to tailor investments to improve road safety. One of the exciting aspects in Nanaimo is breaking out of any particular data silo. If you think about transportation, mobility is the circulatory system of a community. And Nanaimo has been working with UrbanLogiq to identify how can they use their traffic data to help other departments in the city. So, for example, one of the things that we've been working on in a number of cities elsewhere, in Toronto, for example, in New York City, is using business data and helping local businesses understand where your shoppers coming from, where can you get access to workers, and we're integrating this type of data along with the traffic data to provide Nanaimo with a comprehensive picture of economic intelligence. In the city of Burnaby, we've been working with them to understand who uses their parks and when, to both understand when they should invest in operational needs in terms of park maintenance, and also to understand which communities are underserved with access to parks. We're looking at bringing this type of analysis into Nanaimo to ensure that their citizens have equitable access to community amenities. One of the most exciting projects at UrbanLogiq is using artificial intelligence for traffic impact analysis. Anytime a real estate developer is going to invest in anything from apartment building, condo tower, shopping mall, or any type of neighborhood development, they have to go to the city and provide a traffic impact analysis to ensure that this doesn't adversely affect, congestion on the streets. This can oftentimes, cost $25,000 to $150,000 and take a year to do. What UrbanLogiq has developed is a way to use the city's existing traffic data. So you can put a location on the map and say, I want to build an apartment building here. It'll have 100,000 square feet residential space. What will be the expected traffic impact analysis based on historical behavior in the community? And this will allow both the city and the private sector to have a nearly instantaneous understanding of the likely impact, accelerating development permitting time and easing the confidence of developers to invest in local communities. The other aspects that Nanaimo has been focusing on is ensuring equity. One of the projects that UrbanLogiq is developing is a technology to understand how equity can be factored into all government policy decisions. So if you were to look at who has access to jobs or what is the air quality of different neighborhoods, all this can be accomplished on the same platform without needing to build out separate applications, as Barb was mentioning, allowing one public servant to have the complete levels of analysis that they do in their job all at their fingertips. One of the reasons why UrbanLogiq is excited to work with Nanaimo is because of their long-term vision encapsulated in the city plan called Nanaimo Reimagined. Nanaimo is planning to increase their population by 40% while still maintaining economic equity, environmental sustainability, and social inclusion. And one of the challenges with that is you have to look at it from a multidimensional view. How does demographics, businesses, land use, infrastructure, weather, events, mobility, all of these play together to create one common picture of community impact? And Nanaimo Reimagined is a plan on how to do that. Part of the way that UrbanLogiq is looking to support this is by creating a platform that allows a library of all possible scenarios and plans to be centralized. So any given day, the city of Nanaimo is considering different options of infrastructure development or permitting applications. And so we create a central library where all of these can be shared across departments. We then look at how you can simulate the impact of this. So we created a digital twin of Nanaimo and look at how economic development impacts traffic patterns, impacts social inclusion. And we can take 3 different scenarios. So, if we were to build bike lanes versus, widening roads or investing in transit, what would the impact of each of those scenarios be? So you can actually simulate future scenarios in Nanaimo before you put a single shovel in the ground and measure that potential impact. One of the things that Nanaimo has been very disciplined about is it's not just enough to develop a plan, they also want to monitor plans going ahead. So part of the application we're building with Nanaimo is something where we map out what the planned impact is and what the assumptions underlying that are. And then over time, as developments go ahead and we see the change of community behavior, can we see where there might be a delta? So the assumed impacts are not developing the way that the city had imagined would. And you can then flag saying, by year 2, it's clear that our 20-year plan is not unfolding the way we thought. And there is still time to adapt and adjust before the long-term developments are locked in. In a nutshell, benefits of the Nanaimo Smart City operating system is a centralized platform that allows all of the latest advancements in data science and data sources to empower local public servants to use the best of data science and data-driven decision-making. So it's an all-source intelligence that captures the institutional knowledge. The experts at the end of the day are the public servants who dedicate their lives to improving the quality of life in Nanaimo. And the knowledge in their head, by putting it in the platform, allows it to be valued and harnessed by departments and other agencies across both Nanaimo and the province and the federal government. We automate best practices. So you can be a new public servant. You might have transferred to Nanaimo from another city, or you could be a new graduate out of school. And automatically, the most advanced data science and tools around artificial intelligence are automatically integrated into your workflow. All the data at any given time is owned by the city of Nanaimo. It's the city of Nanaimo decides who has access to it, what are the permissions around it. And by centralizing in one platform, it ensures data governance compliance and allows the city leadership to decide how to responsibly manage city-owned data. Security and privacy is built into this. Everything UrbanLogiq does is ISO certified. So we are both on the cybersecurity and also on the privacy, everything from PIPEDA to the European Union's GDPR standards. UrbanLogiq meets or exceeds those privacy standards. So automatically, Nanaimo's data is world-class in terms of security and privacy protection. Part of that is ensuring that there's an audit trail. So ensuring that if any citizen wants to know how were decisions arrived at or who has access to data, the city of Nanaimo at all times has an audit trail of complete visibility on who accessed what data, what was done with that data, and what decisions were derived from that. And finally, as we all know, artificial intelligence is a very exciting opportunity for governments. And part of the work that UrbanLogiq is investing in is ensuring that Nanaimo and all of our partners are using a platform that is future-proof for all the coming breakthroughs in artificial intelligence, data science, and technology. Finally, in closing, I really want to thank the team at the city of Nanaimo. At the end of the day, UrbanLogiq's greatest breakthroughs are not our ideas. They are driven by leaders like Barbara, who every day dedicate her life to improving the quality of life for their citizens. And they come to us and they say, these are the needs of our citizens. This is what we need to do to improve their quality of life. And from that, we work together as a team to look at how do we marry breakthroughs in technologies with the local expert knowledge of the city of Nanaimo to improve the quality of life for the citizens of Nanaimo. I think this is a partnership that is both improving the quality of life for local citizens, but also leading to breakthroughs that will pioneer and developments that will impact the quality of life for citizens around the world. I really appreciate the forward thinking and vision and courage of the staff at the city of Nanaimo, and it's been a great partnership, and we're excited for the future work we're doing together.
Thanks for that, Mark. Yeah, it's been a really collaborative process. We work well together. There's ideas bouncing off one another back and forth, and both teams have been mutually supportive and helpful, and we've really appreciated the vast data, knowledge, and understanding that UrbanLogiq has brought to the table and helped us see things beyond our imaginations. Thanks for that, Mark.
If you have any you're always free to get in touch with me through the email here, as well as Barbara, who's our contact person at the city of Nanaimo, and we look forward to hearing from you.
For sure. Anyone has any questions or would like more information, feel free to contact me through that email address, and I'll be very happy to chat with you.